So here's the moment where I'm gonna be real. I don't think Boyega knows ball.
Unseen for generations. A DYAD in the force.
John Boyega is back in the news. He was just at Florida SuperCon 2025, and there are some choice quotes making the rounds of the internet. Now, we wanted to weigh in on this, obviously, because a lot of people are going to capitalize on this to renew their hatred license of Star Wars because, if they don't, the license gets expired.
Which is weird because all these people recently were hating on John Boyega because of his comments about like racism in the industry.
Only when it benefits them, right?
Yep.
So he was at SuperCon and he says, if I was a producer on Star Wars from the beginning, you would have had a whole completely different thing. Yes, you would. If I was a producer,
Me too.
It would be a different thing too. He goes on to say, it would be mad. First of all, we're not getting rid of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, all these people. We're not doing that. The first thing we're going to do is fulfill their story, fulfill their legacy. We're going to make a good moment of handing on the baton. The first thing I'm going to say in response to this is obviously John Boyega is entitled to his opinion. They faced a lot of issues with filming, including the passing of Carrie Fisher. There was a lot more planned for Leia.
That's true, but we didn't have a meeting of the big three, and I partially agree with this take. I think that a lot of people went into these films wanting to see our favorite characters that we grew up with at the height of their power, at the height of their ability, doing cool stuff, and that's just not what these movies were. I don't think that's a problem with the movies, right? I think if you watch a movie, you need to judge the movie based on what it is and what it's telling you, not based off of I wanted to see this. Like, the actual problem with this is that George Lucas didn't make another movie with these characters 15 years ago.
Yeah. The only thing I will agree with is fulfill their legacy. Legacy, I mean, it all comes down to just how you're going to read this narrative and kind of execute it on your own. Now, John Boyega has his own plans, and I'm sure Choco and I have differing plans as to how we would handle it too. But I just want to comment on the fact that like we really need to move on. Like, I know that this is questions he's being asked at SuperCon, but like it's done already. The sequels are done. To harp on what would have changed and what they would have done differently, it's interesting conversation, but I wanted to emphasize this for people who are going to use these quotes and weaponize these quotes to, push some sort of hatred on Star Wars. I'm going to read the rest of his quotes and then we'll kind of give our take on the rest of it. Our new characters will not be overpowered in these movies. They won't just grab stuff and know what to do with it. No, you've got to struggle like every other character in this franchise. I do that. I'd look to the Old Republic stories and see what we can add to the continuation of that. I would definitely want to see Force Unleashed stories in there. I would try to expand the Star Wars universe as much as possible while respecting the lore. If we're expanding the lore, we have to do it within the respective boundaries that stay true. But Luke Skywalker wouldn't be disappearing on a rock. Hell no. Standing there and he's like a projector. I would want to give those characters way more.
That's fine. His opinion is his opinion. That's super valid. Again, just like you kind of said, I wish we could move on and just have these conversations because we talk openly about what we would change, what we would do different all of the time in our live streams, which are Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Hey,
If you're watching this later, come check us out and join the conversation. But yeah, we talk about this openly. It's just using these to bash something else, which, by the way, he's not really doing here. Now, there is one part of what he says. I'm just getting in at the implication of, or I'm inferring, um,
yeah,
characters wouldn't pick something up and just know what to do with it. That literally never happens in the sequel trilogy.
it doesn't.
Like, I feel like people use that to be like, Ray shouldn't have known how to fight with a lightsaber. I think that might be, but like, if you see someone who knows how to fight with a bow staff, if you hand them a lightsaber, they won't Like, this isn't Skyrim, and you just didn't level up one-handed. Like, I've I've only leveled up two-handed. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I would also like to see Old Republic stories. I do find it strange though, because he said our characters wouldn't be overpowered, but then he talks about Old Republic and Force Unleashed.
Yeah. I
And so
so here's the moment where I'm gonna be real. I don't think Boyega knows ball. I think that he has heard some interesting things. He most probably played Force Unleashed and he probably
yeah,
watched the Old Republic cinematics. But other than that, there's not a lot of flesh in these statements. You know, talking about adding a continuation to Old Republic stories, which I don't know how you continue, over thousands and thousands of years back into the past. Force Unleashed stories, I mean, that was already
which
decanonized
doesn't
by
quite
George
make sense.
Lucas.
Yeah.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with him on Luke Skywalker disappearing on a rock. I think it was a beautiful scene. Star Wars isn't about going out with a bang and going out with a hurrah. A lot of our favorite Jedi during Order 66 just died. Plo Koon, which is Choco, one of Choco's favorite Jedi, just got shot down.
I mean, Luke disappearing on that rock for me was one of the greatest moments.
Yeah.
But I get it. I've seen people, say otherwise, and by his wording and by bringing up specifically the Old Republic and the Force Unleashed, I imagine, it's just my imagination, that he falls into the category of I wanted to see Luke Skywalker crushing walkers with the Force and doing cool lightsaber stuff and physically being there and just like slaughtering all these stormtroopers. And I've talked to a lot of people who like that. They would have wanted to see that. That's just not what being a Jedi is about. You know what I mean?
I
Like
mean,
that's like a
it's
fundamental misunderstanding of the role. We honestly don't see Jedi killing humans often, or live, yeah, sentient beings often at all, right? That's only a last resort. And like, yeah, what Luke does is the most Jedi way to possibly go out. And it also mirrors him in Return of the Jedi, right?
yeah.
When he becomes the Jedi is when he throws down his lightsaber, not when he's striking out in anger to be a badass, not when he's doing, his sweet backflip in his Chanel boots, to get the high ground. It's when he throws down the lightsaber and says, I'm a Jedi just like my father before me.
And I will say the jump from Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi is the most just grab stuff and be good at it of all of Star Wars. Because without extended canon, like he doesn't finish his training. And then the next time we see him, he's like, I'm a Jedi Knight. He's like wearing the black robes. He's
He
force
literally has
choking
a
people.
different personality.
Yeah, he's flipping around, he's doing force mind tricks, and he's force choking, but we accepted it. And the final thing I want to say in regards to this article, as we keep saying, John Boyega is entitled to his own opinion, and I said this before with Sam Witwer as well. I respectfully disagree. People are taking these statements and saying this would have been so much better. I call into question media literacy, but also authenticity, because I don't see anything in these statements that is very substantive in terms of being able to determine if this would be better. He's talking about very high level concepts. Old Republic, Force Unleashed. Characters wouldn't be overpowered. Han, Luke, and Leia would have more of a story.
Yeah, it's kind of like he took a bro word cloud and strung them together.
But this is what we run into a lot with people judging trailers prematurely. If you just look at these statements, they all sound like cool concepts and ideas, but we don't have anything substantive to judge. I don't know if this would have been better. It all comes down to execution. You could put all of what John Boyega says on a script, film that, and you wouldn't have a movie. So that's what I wanted to say about that. I wanted to just caution people from taking his very high level ideas and being like, oh, that would have been a better sequel trilogy.
Let us know like in the comment section what you would change or what you would do in order to create, your own version of the sequels. And yeah, we're always happy to share ours. But rather than just kind of stringing along things, tell us, like, what's the story?
We would fulfill their story, fulfill their legacy. We would give those characters way more, way more. Tell us how you would do that. But of course, final word, John Boyega is entitled to his opinion. I'm not going to say he can't say that because we disagree. I just want to caution people into taking what he says and drawing far gone conclusions from it. Leave your comments in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos. What did we learn today, Choco?
Yeah, we learned actors can have opinions. They're no more valuable than ours. We're all fans.
And as George Lucas says, I think I may have gone too far in some places. May the force be with you.